On the road with the Utah Jazz, it's Roundball Roundup on UtahJazz.com. JP Chunga with
Georges Niang.
Georges Niang. George, thank you so much for joining us. And how's it going with the injury, ramping up to play?
Yeah, it's been a process, right? You can never kind of predict when injuries are going to happen, but the training staff, the support staff here, the weight room staff, coaches have been phenomenal in supporting me and my ramp up, and hopefully here in the next couple weeks, in this month, I'll be able to get out there and get fine-tuned and get moving out there.
But you've been able to watch what the team has been doing and seeing the way Lowry started. What have you viewed from his play?
Yeah, you talk about what Lowry brings to the table. Obviously, I knew he was very talented before I got here, but his ability to shoot the ball and move without the ball and play unselfishly and still score a ton of points without really having to use a lot of dribbles or a lot of time with the ball. It's extremely impressive, especially from a guy of his age, right? He's in his prime, and it's amazing to see how productive he is just in the little bit amount of time that I've been around him.
When you've been able to watch the team, what stands out about the way that the Jazz are playing now?
I've always said this, even when I got here, like playing against a team that's coached by Will Hardy is always so difficult because it doesn't matter who's out there. He has player movement, ball movement, body movement, and it's just tedious to guard. So being a part of it, it's almost like a relief, right? I'm watching. I'm like, I'm glad I'm on that side of it where, there's so much misdirection and body movement and then the ball movement after that it's really tough for defenses to hone in and know what you're running. So I've been pleased to see that the young guys have bought into playing the right way. The whole team has bought into playing the right way, and those things add up, and like getting a win against Boston kind of help you double down, like, hey, if we play that way, this will continue to help us grow and be better. And I think, Will does a phenomenal job of teaching that. Like, this isn't just about one person. This is about all of us collectively doing it as a team.
Is it exciting knowing that when you get back out on the court, you'll be able to take advantage of some of that player movement?
Oh, absolutely. I've been thrilled since the day I found out, I was going to be here. Obviously it's a tease having to wait and watch. But like I said, I'm super excited to be a part of a situation where, unselfishness is taught and consistently pushed upon the players to consistently do the right thing, play the right way. And over the course of time, that's how you grow in this game, in this league.
Can we talk about a little bit your background? Because I think for the other players, it can be pretty inspiring to see someone go from two-way, full contract, established in the league, double digits in the league in 10th year. Like, that story isn't really something that gets told a bunch. What was it being on a two-way contract before getting the full guarantee?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, coming in, you have to realize that every NBA journey is different. Like, I was drafted 50th, I was cut, I was in the G League, I was on a two-way. Like, some guys' stories are going to be different. You're going to get drafted, you're going to play. Are you going to be prepared to play? And then when you get out there, like, what is your situation? What team are you on? So that's why I always look at it as like, everyone's situation is different. You can look at my situation and be in awe and say that's cool, but I think there's one commonality of people or successful people in the league or in life, and it's just grit, right? Like, you say you want something, and how far are you willing to go for it, right? And I think the biggest thing for me is being successful in the league is something that I wanted, but I also, had to give up a lot. But in hindsight, I also had a lot of people that supported me and helped me get to this point where, you want to run towards people that are brutally honest with you. Because when I got to the NBA, I thought I could, still post up like I did in college when, and someone's brutally honest with me, and it was like, George, those days are over. So the biggest thing for me is, I think as a professional athlete or anyone in life, is it gets hard. There were days that I wanted to quit. There were days that I didn't think that I was going to be able to, survive. But I think if you just tell yourself like one more day, I'm going to keep showing up for one more day, and you get through that day, and I'm going to show up for another day, and you just keep showing up, and you end up just outlasting people, because a lot of people can't handle the task of consistently showing up and doing their job. And I think that's kind of what my life has kind of been, and it's circled me back to Utah. And I tell these guys all the time, I'm like, you don't understand how you're treated in Utah and with the Jazz. It's not like that everywhere else. So like really soak this in and enjoy it, because you don't want to be that guy sitting back being like, dang, I wish I was back. Mm-hmm. I know I got the opportunity to get back, but that's not really how life works sometimes.
Where does the competitive drive come for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been someone that's had like a chip on my shoulder, but at the same time, I think I hate losing more than I love winning. And there's just something about that, wakes me up every single day and makes me want to chase after the dream that I, had as a 10-year-old kid, and kind of never give that up, right? I mean, it's just something that I hold sacred to, probably sometimes with a little too much edge while I'm out there. It's cost me a couple dollars here in fines with technicals, but it's just, I almost feel like I turn into a different person on the court. Sometimes people be like, hey, remember when you said that? And I'm like, I don't even it's like I lose my train of thought while I'm out there, just because you get so competitive and intense. In the NBA, people don't realize that like these are like grown men moving at fast speeds, and the intensity of the game. And for someone like me who wasn't gifted from God as much as other people, I think you just have to be an ultra competitor to even survive in this league. Like, how are you going to try and win every step, every movement, every hit? Like these are things that you have to train yourself to do night in and night out just to survive. And that's kind of just been my crazy mentality since then.
It almost sounds like desperation to stay in the league.
Yeah, I mean, you ever played against someone who's desperate? It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So if I can get out there and act that way, to continue this living of people don't understand. You wake up and play basketball for a living. Like, I would never want to give that up because of my effort. Lack of skill, okay. Getting old, okay. But because of effort, like I said about showing up, there's nothing good that I have that I want to give up because of my lack of effort or appreciation. And that's kind of how I attack every single day.
How do you stay confident during the early moments when the dream seemed far away?
Yeah, I think it's all in the preparation, right? I hate to be cliche, but, taking a test when you're prepared, when you've studied, when you've put in the hours, when you've put in the hours, when you look across and see someone who looks hesitant because they didn't put in the hours, that breeds confidence. Where I may be anxious before the game started because I'm ready to see what my work has, cooked up and what it looks like. And then when you get out there, you just free flow. You're like, I've done this. And I was lucky enough to have coaches that, put me in situations in practice and workouts that had me prepared for, what was coming in the games. Someone told me sometime that, the NBA is crazy, but you always have to be patiently relentless, patiently waiting for your opportunity, but relentlessly chasing after it every single day. It may not go your way one day, but guess what? You still got to go to work. Hey, it may go your way and you might be playing really well. You still got to go to work. And just continuing those steps of just stacking bricks and going one day at a time, but showing up every single day and continuing to do the things that you did that got you here.
I remember at Summer League, somebody asked you if you believed you were an NBA player. And you said, if I didn't believe I was an NBA player, why would I be here?
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense that you would have an internal confidence that, yeah, I belong, and it comes from that preparation and being ready in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, some people have irrational confidence, and that helps also, right? But other people just know what they've done behind closed doors and in the dark that, is going to show in the light. And I believe I've never shied away from from hard work. And I think I'm pretty self-aware, and I know who I am. I know what my limitations are. You know, I've at this point, I've been around the league a bunch, clearly. And, you know, you've kind of seen different styles on what works and what doesn't work. And, you know, I think ultimately if you believe something and you want it bad enough, you're going to get there. And I say that like not facetiously. I mean that because literally if you want something bad enough, you will do extreme things. And I'm speaking from experience, right? Where you're like, whether if it's eating right, sleeping right, you know, working out, like a lot of people say, oh, I want this. And a speed bump gets in the way and they're like, oh, I could have done this. But it's like, if you let that speed bump just be a part of your journey and get over it and don't let excuses hinder you from what you really want, there's nothing in this world you can't achieve.
It's true. I mean, if that speed bump stops you, you weren't meant for it.
Yeah, or you didn't want it that bad.
You didn't want it.
Don't tell me you want it that bad if a speed bump is going to slow a minivan down.
What was your welcome to the league moment?
Oh, man, I feel like I've told this story like 20 times on podcasts. I was in Indiana playing against the Bulls. I think it was one of our first games. And I think it was Robin Lopez. I don't know if anybody knows him. He has like crazy hair. He's like 7 foot. You know, the ball went off the rim, and I like looked up, and I was going up to get it, and I thought I was jumping pretty high for me. And I was going up to get it, and he was like a foot over me and took the ball, and his like chest hit my back. I go flying into like the backstop. He grabs the ball, dunks it, and like with his crazy hair and his socks up to here, and screams, is like, ah! And I was like, oh, we're not in Kansas anymore. No, it was just like, that was my welcome to the NBA moment. It was crazy.
What about finally finding your place? When did you feel like I can fit in here?
Yeah.
I can work in the league.
I would definitely say it was my second year with the Jazz, coming off a two-way, right? Two-way, it's tough because, you know, you're kind of in limbo. You're with two teams, but you're being invested by an NBA team. They still have you practice with them. I had a good summer league, and it was 2 games in. We were playing the Golden State Warriors, and they threw me out there, and I had an opportunity to play against the Golden State Warriors, who I think were like defending champions at that point. And I made a couple threes and, you know, scored a couple points and kind of was like, oh, I can do this. Like, you know, I can pick up on these schemes. I can help a team win. And then kind of there, you kind of just, once it's that little boat of confidence, that little boost, it's like, it almost like propels you into like your career. And how are you going to use that momentum moving forward? Are you going to keep adding to it? Or are you going to just let it fade in the distance and live off that one moment? So it was something that kind of propelled me to work harder and made me hungrier to kind of do more to get more of those moments. But that was a game that, you know, finally was like, okay, like I know I can belong here.
How difficult was it to be on a two-way, bouncing from place to place? Because I think of Oscar, who had to play 3 games in 24 hours, where he played G League game, he played Jazz game, he played a G League game the next day.
Yeah, it's a grind. It is a real grind. And, you know, a guy like Oscar, like those guys don't get enough credit, right? Because you're flying around, you're just making it happen, right? There's no like time to sit and be like, wow, I'm tired. You just show up and where do I need to be? What do I need to do? So those guys deserve a ton of credit, right? Because being a part of a team is emotionally exhausting, but you got to be a part of 2 teams, right? And you got to figure out, how can I pour in and add to one team, and how can I pour in and add to another team? And if I'm tired of pouring and adding into one team, that doesn't mean I can stay tired and not pour into the other, right? So it's like a constant grind, and then the travel, and it was difficult, right? You know, because you don't want to make it about yourself. You're constantly thinking like, am I good enough? Am I doing things that are allowing me to be seen so that I can get a guaranteed contract? But you also have to like surrender your personal goals to the team, because that's kind of just how this works, right? You surrender yourself. What can I do to make us better? and things always usually, play themselves. You show up, you surrender yourself to the team, be a good person. Great things tend to happen. But two-way guys, you guys deserve a lot of credit. It's not easy. I've been in your shoes. I commend you for doing what you do. Just keep showing up for yourself. Keep showing up for the team every single day.
What were you feeling when EJ got that offensive foul?
Oh.
0.6 to play. Inbound.
Offensive foul. Gotta be.
That kid, we'll take a moment because EJ Harkless, man, it's special because you think about someone that, didn't start here, but the kid never gives up. He shows up every day. He comes in with the same intensity. He's talking. He's loud, whether if he's playing, didn't get in, didn't practice. Like, he's the same person, and he's eager to be better. To see all the work that he's done behind closed doors, show in the biggest stages, end of the game against the finals MVP, in one of the most hectic environments there is, for him to get that glory. Like, as a teammate, like, you're honestly, it almost brings you like happy tears. You're like so happy for someone that they got to achieve that, because he truly deserves it. He works his tail off every single day, and there isn't a thing you couldn't ask that kid to do, and there isn't a thing he isn't willing to do to make it in this league. So it was awesome.
We saw the reaction.
Yeah. I was super happy for him, and he deserves it. He truly deserves it. He's an awesome kid. He's a heck of a basketball player. He's going to have a long career.
You were hitting Sean with a towel.
Yeah, I was fired up, man. Sometimes you can't just, hold back emotion. Play the clip.
Deontay, little give and go, stop, pop, off the glass, no. Rebound, Nurk, put it up and in. 0.6 of a second to play, and Nurkic gives Utah the lead.
It was awesome. I think we have a fun group. We have a group that's growing every single day, and that's fun to be a part of, right? There's no better situation than seeing what growth looks like, and it's not exponential, right? There's going to be times where we hit here, and you just want to avoid having too many of the downfalls. And it's exciting, the environment that Will, Austin, Danny, Ryan have created here is super special because they care, right? And everything is kind of made about growing this thing that we have. I mean, you look what Ryan has put in, the new facility. You look at, Austin and Danny and their development, and then you look at Will and his basketball mind and basketball savvy to develop the way he plays that involves everybody to make it feel like, we're all in this together. Like, these are special things that you don't see anywhere else.
Things have changed since
you
were last here.
Yeah.
How have you changed?
I got a couple more gray hairs, right? No, I think experience, right? I've been able to, go to different teams and have different experiences that, have molded me and helped me, and see different ways and styles that kind of, help me grow in the game of basketball. Obviously, growing as a person, I think I was a young boy when I first came here, and now I'm a man.
Side by side of the
right.
first days.
Yeah, have those year 2 and year 10. It's crazy. But like I said, the state of Utah has been so phenomenal to me. I always loved it here. And I've always enjoyed the passion that the people have here for their people and for their teams, and how welcoming they are. And, I was telling someone the other day, I was like, how could you be mad driving, looking at the mountains every day? The sun's out, or the snow caps are, there's snow on them, and you're looking out, and I'm like, am I looking out at a mural, or is this really, my daily view? And I love Utah, and I almost get upset that, people find out that it's a good place, because it's like, I like having the space of not having too many people out here. But for the people out there, I'll do a PSA that think Utah is different or out there. It's one of the best places on the planet. So if you can get out there and get some time out in Salt Lake City, Park City. It's a heck of a place.
Favorite part about Utah?
Can I say two?
Sure.
I would say the people, right? Because you get treated so amazingly there, right? The people are top tier, top notch. It doesn't get any better. Like just salt of the earth, genuinely want to see you do well, and are going to continue to live their life, but they genuinely are happy and want to see you do well, whether if that's basketball or non-basketball. And then I would just say like the views. I mean, it's like you can't. They're unmatched. It doesn't get better than this. You like. I'm saying like, and and I try and explain it to people, but it's one of those things where you have to get out there to experience it. Utah's a heck of a place.
It does look fake sometimes.
Yeah.
Want to wrap up with one of your former teammates retiring, Bojan. Favorite memory of him?
Oh, Bojan. He is... I have too many memories of him, but one that continues to stick out and will always stick out is I think I wore like in Bojan's English, everybody knows is spotty, and I wore like an orange shirt, kind of like what you have, and he was like looking at me one time. He was like, "Orangina," and I'm like, what is that? And he was essentially telling me that my body looked like an Orangina bottle. So if you've seen an Orangina bottle, it's like skinny at the neck and then like huge. So still to this day, he calls me Orangina. Yeah. So when we'd be on the court, he'd be like sitting by the bench injured, and I'd hear someone yell as I run down the court, Orangina. Yeah. So he had a heck of a career, right? You look at what he was able to accomplish and the amount of points he scored and how much fun he had doing it. I don't think people really know from the outside the personality that Bojan had, but he was just kind of like, we're going to show up, we're going to play, we're going to score some points.
He's going to shoot threes.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have fun off the court. So.
Hit a game winner.
Yes. He had a lot of those. And I remember that one in Houston. That was...
Yeah.
Outside to Bogey. He's crowded. Three. Bogdanovic! At the horn wins in Houston.
We couldn't get over that hump playing against them, and he hit that shot and we won. Wow.
Derrick Favors has been around.
Yeah, I actually got to see him. The
Delta Center.
Yeah, night one. It's so good. It's like Fave doesn't age, right? He's amazing. You talk about probably one of the most kind-hearted teammates, soft-spoken. And I think one of the best piece of advice is, you're going through it in your journey, and I was kind of like complaining to him one day, and he was like, I don't get why they don't do this and this and da-da-da. And he was like, George, NBA was never meant for you to understand. Keep coming to work every day. And that's just kind of how Fave operated, right? And he stretched that into 12, 13, 14-year career. Probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Great family man, great person, great teammate. It's so good seeing those guys come back around.
It's good. It's good. There were good times when those guys were on the floor.
They were, and there's going to be great times because, what we're doing here is special, and I think people are gonna start to see that what we have cooking up here is really awesome.
Oh, we can't wait to see you on the floor.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Georges Niang on Roundball Roundup on UtahJazz.com. Thanks, George.
Yep, thank you.